And he would sing these improvised parts based on Yoruba chant stuff, and he'd harmonize with them. And essentially, I was sent only this. I was sent 8-minute drum and percussion improvisations with vocals in certain moments, all recorded to a click. And my task as the kind of primary producer on the record was to turn these into songs with 100% freedom. I could take a 2-beat moment between the two of them and make it as a loop for the entire song and compose whatever chords or whatever that I wanted and fit the vocals over it, mute the vocals, do anything. It was basically like this was the material that I had to work with. So I spent a week and a half or 2 weeks here in my studio just chopping up these songs, chopping up these improvisations and writing chords under them, writing bass lines, copying and pasting vocals around, changing how many part harmony was happening, and really just like taking the scalpel, not even the scalpel, like the hatchet really to everything. And so it was the first record that I've ever been a part of where that composition process was actually after the recording session. Normally it's the other way around. Normally you compose the song, you rehearse it, you record it. In this case, we recorded it and then we composed it. So I'll show you the raw form that it was in. And then I'll show you kind of how that transformed into what it is now.
Here we go.
So it's like 8 minutes of this, of the two of them improvising together. And then after they had done this, Pedro went in and improvised some vocals. And one thing that we were trying to do was avoid playing like beats that are that sound like loops. Like the whole idea was keeping a conversational approach to the drums and percussion, so that it's not just like a beat, but then in editing that, I could create loops based on those conversations, which would also give it an inherently different color than if we just said, here's the groove, play the groove, right? So I'll play you what became the chorus. Here it is. So I heard this section and I thought like, okay, this is super catchy. He, added the claps. We have a repetitive thing. This will be our kind of like chorus, for lack of a better word. So then I just started adding stuff until it felt good, and this is how it sounds in the master. Right here.
So we can hear a lot more going on. You've been busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a repeated chord progression, but there's a lot happening. I mean, I think I added Moog bass, I added Ngoni, which is like a West African lute, I added acoustic guitars, and some synths. So basically, I mean, on this record, my role was to bring the modern, basically, I think we think of this trio as like futuristic folklore. We're taking the roots and trying to shove the stuff into the future. using unique sounds and textures and techniques. I think in a second I take a solo on a fretless electric baritone guitar. This, which is a sound you don't hear in traditional Yoruba music,
Yeah.
to say the least, you know? Because Pedro and Antonio, they're both like guys that like to push things. They like to push the envelope. They're really into aggressive sounds and mixing and fusing things together, and but they do it with complete mastery of the tradition. You know, I mean, they have their roots very, very deeply planted into the ground, so that gives them actually more versatility, more flexibility when they want to branch out.
Yeah, amazing. I guess we should hear some of the parts that you added to their original.
Sure.
Time for a quick Tape It feature highlight. Did you know that while you're recording, you can drop markers? No more scrolling through endless voice notes. Once you've finished, you can go back to the markers to find your best bits. You can also name your markers if there's a specific note you want to add. To find out more, follow the link in the description or use the promo code Tape Notes for 20% off Tape It Pro.
The first thing that I started with when I was writing it was the bass, because I was trying to figure out where different chords could land. So I'll play the drum percussion groove with the Moog bass.
Yeah.
So, pretty simple actually. I mean, I think, you know, very similar to Snarky Puppy in that you have a lot of things doing very little and it sounds full. So now the next thing that came in was the acoustic guitar part. There are two acoustic guitars here. One is just simply doubling the bass line so that you have the Moog providing the kind of like booty low end in the mix, and then you have the acoustic guitar providing some mid-range warmth and definition. And that will sound like this. So it's still just the bass line. And then I added this kind of arpeggiated accompaniment on an acoustic guitar. Which is interesting because it's just the same thing over and over. It's not actually changing chords, but those notes all work over every bass note. So it has the illusion of playing chords, which is not actually. If we listen to it without the bass line, it just sounds like this. Right?
Yeah.
But then in context, you get the sense of harmony from the bass line providing some roots. And then I think I doubled that on the Ngoni, the Malian lute, an octave up, just to give some punch and some brightness and pluck to the thing. And Antonio added some effects, which are very, very subtle. Little plucky stuff. And actually, that's really all that's going on besides the vocals and the claps. I mean, then when you hear everything kind of in context. There's also this keyboard drone that I have just playing the root. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of different elements playing very simple parts.
We have got a ridiculously exciting festive gear giveaway competition, and one winner will walk away with this incredible prize list. All you have to do is head over to the Tape Notes Patreon page at patreon.com/Tape Notes. Sign up for free and comment who you'd like to see on the podcast on the top pinned post. The competition will remain open until the 2nd of January, at which point a winner will be drawn. Good luck.